Is this the end for me? Will I carry on this trajectory forever? Or can I do something else with all the gifts that I've been given by God and by my people and my family? What can I do more than this that isn't selfish, that isn't for me, but for other people? Those of a certain age in this room, no point you, I won't embarrass you, especially the ladies, of course, because it's too much there, know very well that you've achieved something for your families. And your kids are here today to hopefully draw inspiration from seeing what other people in their families have done. I make an appeal to you. You could spend your life making more money. You could spend your life buying more properties. You could spend your life having a nicer car, looking for that elusive dream that somehow in the future defines who you are, and then you think you've made it. And you'll never be happy. Because it is nothing more than a chimera. It doesn't really exist. Our gurus taught us that you work in the here and now. You don't say to yourself, if I'm very spiritual, but I do absolutely nothing, if I go to the Gurdwara every day and I sit around and I take langar, but I do nothing in my community, oh, we'll go to heaven. That's not what they taught us. That's not what they taught us. They said, in this world, you do something. In this world, you do seva. In this world, you help your community. And you do it without ego, and you do it selflessly. Because that itself is an end, not to some other greater thing. That's itself something of such pure satisfaction that you should feel happy if you help some neighbor or some friend or some member of your family, right? This is what we're trying to teach our children. And as Punjabis, we are leaders in this field. Because we never stayed behind when there was a challenge, we were the first to step forward. So when I hear about all these success stories, I want to give a round of applause to those people. Okay, well done. But it's not over. There's work yet to do. Now yesterday I was in Birmingham. You can see my Midlands attachment's getting a bit addictive. And I was there for a good reason. Because a bunch of lawyers got together in Birmingham to discuss what we can do about this government, the British government's involvement in what happened in 1984. It's an issue of great anguish and pain to many, many Sikhs worldwide, and of course here in this country. And I was astounded at the quality of the lawyers that I was meeting for the first time who were from the same background as me. That loop for me yesterday was beginning to close, that loop around the UK. The Devindas and Ranjits and others I'd known from before, but these other guys, and women and men, all women and men, were making their own contribution. I thought, wow, this really is an army of people. And then I began to understand that as a community, if we want to measure our success, as Cam was discussing with me, how do you measure the success of people? I'll tell you how you measure it in my eyes. As an immigrant community, our success is measured by the diversity of interests that we have and the different parts of our society that we begin to populate. Because we're not all doctors, and we're not all lawyers, and we're not all engineers. We are many people doing many different things. Just because I'm a barrister shouldn't mean that I get more attention. If somebody is working in a factory but they're working hard and they're providing for their family, they deserve recognition. If they do voluntary work in their community, they do seva, they should be applauded. The diversity of our achievement is the measure of our success as a community that has made its home in the United Kingdom. So all you younger people out there, I know, of course, your parents want you to do well educationally, and you must do your best. Your parents may want you to go into the higher professions, and of course, if that's what you want to do, you must try your hardest to get there. But I won't say that because we have X number of doctors and lawyers and engineers, that means that we've made it. When we get more politicians who are from our background, sitting in Parliament and in the Lords, speaking for the issues that matter to us and the issues that matter to our neighbours, our white neighbours as well, equally, then we're making it. When we get voluntary workers who get recognised in the New Year's Honours list because they went out to Africa and Asia and they did stuff to help poor people, then we're making it. When you switch on your televisions and you watch journalists who are Asian, Indian, Punjabi, reading the news to you, then you know that we are making it. Every pocket of society is open to us if we want to step into it. Nothing is out of limits. I want to make another appeal to all of us as Punjabis, and it's this. This society's purpose is to continue to develop our sense of awareness as Punjabi people, and what is a foreign land for many, and to celebrate our success. And that is wonderful. But we need also to be realistic about where we're falling down. Okay? Because we're not successful in everything that we do, and there are some things about what we do that sometimes make me feel embarrassed. And you know when you see a Punjabi doing something that's wrong, it hurts you inside. So the discipline I talked about at the very beginning, which is the route to success, because without discipline you will never achieve anything, is important for us to remind ourselves why we need to behave in a way that reflects all of us the best. What are the problems that we've got at the moment? I'll tell you 2 or 3. And I don't want to say this because I think that we need to beat ourselves up. It's not that. It's because I reach for a higher level all the time, and I want us to think, are we doing enough to represent ourselves in the best way as Punjabis? Isn't it strange that when one Punjabi is successful, you would think that all the other Punjabis would say, yay, isn't that great? Did you hear about Fulani? They did so well, so-and-so did really well. They became a whatever. They achieved whatever. They are whatever. You wait for the chorus of voices that will say, what a great credit to our community he or she is, to be met with a resounding silence. And then the sounds of bickering and sniggering and making fun that goes on in houses and homes and pubs and places where Punjabis get together, and what do they say? Did you hear about so-and-so? Who does he think he is? He thinks he's a big shot now. You heard about that woman who got that award? My wife could have got that award. You heard so-and-so said that their son or daughter went to a really good university, they're doing medicine. I know that family. Or the rubbish family, yeah? What is it about us? We look at the examples of other communities that have been incredibly successful. Take a simple example of a community, a religious community, that's actually not too different in size worldwide to us. Take the Jewish religion. Jewish people who went through some of the most horrific experiences with the Holocaust and the pogroms and all the things that happened to them over the last 2,000 years as they continually got punished for what Christians thought was being responsible for Jesus Christ's crucifixion. Jews have been thrown around the world in a diaspora until they got their homeland in Israel, and that was only 60, 70 years ago. Punjabis were dislocated from their homeland. Their land was disrupted and invaded over and over and over again. Start with Alexander the Great. Move on to the Mughals. Every time somebody wanted to come into India, where did they go? They had to go through Punjab. Where were they heading for? Probably Delhi. And the route to Delhi was always Punjab. There is something about our people's history that has made us so deeply insecure and destabilized that even till today you feel it in the psyche of Punjabi people. That is why, when one of us does well, you don't get this sound. You get the sound of someone ridiculing them, pulling them down, and saying, who do they think they are? Jewish people don't do that. Even Gujarati people don't do that. And they're some of the most successful people worldwide. But you don't hear Gujaratis bickering amongst themselves about who does he think he is, Mr. Hotshot, and stick together. Because they have recognized something that us Punjabi people really need to learn. It's a very important lesson. You have to stick together and celebrate your successes together and stop pulling each other down. Why is that Devendra and I and Ranjit and all the others are doing these things that we do in our little world of lawyers to bind people together And when Devinder says something nice about me and I say something nice about him, we're not just giving each other food. That's not what we're doing. I'm saying this to Devinder as a younger lawyer. Good on you, man. That's great. Go and set that firm up, Devinder. You can do this, nothing can stop you. And when he says to me, Joe, I'm really proud of you, you became a QC, I take it sincerely. He means it sincerely. But we are not enough of us. And this may be the reason why we're holding ourselves back and we need to do better. Right? Maybe there's something about our psyche, because we were invaded so many times, that's made us so insecure. As a people, as Punjabi people, we think we're very confident, and we're very boisterous, and we're very loud. But beneath all of those layers, folks, you may think there's a little kernel of insecurity. And that insecurity has been coming down through generations, because our land has been invaded so many times. We don't know from one day to the next whether things are going to be stable and secure. And when people are insecure, they bicker, they fight. When you're secure, you celebrate and you applaud. And maybe now, because we have come to this country, this is our chance, final chance, to do something about that. Because we have no excuse. We have no excuse. This isn't India, this is the UK. No one's going to invade us there. Punjabi society is about building that sense of cohesion so people start to trust each other in the way that Punjabis have not done. One or two other things, and I know this is going to be treading on some sensitivities here. Those of you having a drink today, this is not a criticism. Not a criticism, but I'll say something to you. I gave up drinking 18 years ago when I was 30 years old. I gave up drinking, and for the younger ones, you may want to note this. When I used to drink, I enjoyed my drink. Daljit will remember when I was at Oxford, and I'd love a beer. Then I got a career where I realised, oh my goodness, this is a 7-day-a-week job. I can't enjoy a drink in the week, and even on the weekends I have to work. How am I going to do this job? I gave up drinking. But there's another reason, folks, why I gave up drinking. It wasn't just so that I could be more efficient in doing my own profession. Because I had seen the damage that alcohol had done to our community over so many generations. How many people had died of alcoholism? How many families had become hurt by alcoholism? How many of our Punjabi men embarrass themselves in public because of their addiction to drink? Are they disciplined? Or are they ill-disciplined? Are they bringing credit to us and to our younger people? Or are they in fact shaming us? Why do we have this reputation as Punjabis as being big drinkers? You want to have a party? Get some Punjabis there. That's what they say. When you talk to Gore people and they say they came to a wedding, oh, I went to the Sikh wedding, I was great, there was alcohol everywhere, it was all free. You're laughing. I find it embarrassing. I find it embarrassing that people who come to our weddings say that the best thing about it was that the alcohol was free. Not that they saw a lovely religious ceremony where two people were united in matrimony, that verses from the Guru Granth Sahib were read out to them, that they had a nice dance and they enjoyed their Punjabi culture, but that there were bottles of whiskey and vodka on the table and no one had to pay for it. It was free. Every time you put a Bollywood movie on and you see that caricature of a Sikh falling around with a bottle of whiskey in his hand like that, right? In the Bhangra song, he's doing that, right? Is that it? That's the only representation in the Bollywood movie of a Sikh that we ever get to see? It's a caricature. But it's a caricature like all caricatures that is built on something which has some truth to it, which is that we have let ourselves down. Now, we're not Muslims.